Good morning from Portland, Oregon. Today I am going to be taking the Amtrak Coast Starlight home to Los Angeles, and I'm so excited about this trip. The train has become my preferred mode of travel, and I haven't ridden the train in a little while, so I'm really looking forward to this. Now, today I've got a lower level seat that I booked on the train. This is a two-level train, by the way. They're called superliners. And I figured out that this lower level is kind of like an exclusive lounge. It's kind of nice. It's nice and quiet at night. I don't know. I'm going to give it a try. It's going to be a 32-hour ride for me. And I want to be comfortable. Now, a lot of people, when they look at, 32 hours on a train, they kind of cringe. But actually, it's not like flying or riding a bus. I usually just set my things down and then I head down to the cafe. And to do that, I have to come upstairs, of course. I have to go through another coach car this time. And then I enter into this car we call the sightseer lounge or the observation car. I spend a lot of time in here and you guys can see why. The views are amazing. I usually like to come in here around sunrise, get my breakfast started, and just enjoy the sunrise or the sunset. This time I'm going to be headed down to the cafe, which is kind of like a little convenience store, if you will. Now, the cafe has all kinds of stuff: soups, chips, muffins, candy, drinks, sandwiches, and so much more, even a little alcohol. And I'll talk about that later. Okay. Now, if you are new to riding the train and you'd like to give it a try, I would recommend the Coast Starlight as a great starter. The views are epic. My biggest challenge is staying awake, to be honest with you. It's such a soothing ride. If I was driving, I wouldn't be able to take this in all the way. You know what I mean? I'd be focused on the road. But since I'm not driving and I can just, enjoy the view, my challenge is staying awake on the train. It's a very relaxing way to get around. It works for me. It may not work for you or for everybody, but it works for me. Now, if you decide to give this train a try, you could try starting in Los Angeles, for instance. The Coast Starlight goes from Los Angeles to Seattle and I think sometimes Vancouver, Canada. It's a good long ride. You could try riding from LA to Santa Barbara, which is about a 2-hour ride, or LA to San Luis Obispo. I think it's 4 or 6 hours, or to the Bay, like San Jose is a 10-hour ride. And coach will be fine for that kind of day's travel. In my opinion, coach is fairly comfortable. If you're like me, though, and you want to travel a little further than that into what I call the overnight portion, you might want to go ahead and book you a room on the train. Yes, the train has bedrooms. There's 3 different types, and maybe I'll do a video on that later. What we call the sleepers, or the rooms, they're on the other side of the train. And I am riding coach today, so I didn't go over there. I just stayed, in my little boundaries where I'm at, which is the observation lounge. They have opened up the dining car to the coach passengers too, and of course the coach cars. Now, if you want to get a bedroom, that could get a little bit pricey, so I have a little hack for you. Sometimes I'm on a budget and I want to trim the price down but still sleep in the bed at night. So here's what I'll do. I'll call customer service and I'll just book the bedroom for the night portion of the trip. So for instance, going north on the Coast Starlight, I'll ride coach from Los Angeles to, say, Sacramento, and then from there I'll go over to the sleepers, and by then the attendant will have made my bed for me and everything will be ready for me to just jump in and go to bed. In the morning, when we get to Klamath Falls, by then I will have had my breakfast, had a nice hot shower, and got myself together, and then I can go back over to the coach cars. Okay, it's a little hack for you. That tends to cut the price down in half. The prices kind of range. It could be anywhere from $400 to $800 one way. And around the holidays and things like that, it could be twice that. It could be much more than that. So that's a little travel hack I have for you. Amtrak customer service, by the way, is great in my opinion. You do good to just go ahead and give them a call if you want to reserve your trip. Remember, this don't have to be an online event. The train is something that kind of came from the past and somehow arrived in our modern day lives. We still have access to it. So there's a lot of traces from the things we liked in the past that the train still carries. I call it the magic of the train. This is Klamath Falls, by the way. This is our last fresh air break for the night. And then it's pretty much time to turn in for the night and go to bed. Now watch this. Look out these windows. See how dark it is? This is why I said you do good to stay awake during the daytime. Because as we pass through these mountains, there's nothing to see outside. So you want to stay awake during the day portion, so at night you can go ahead and get your rest in. I think this is Dunsmuir Station. Now, this is the dining car. Yes, the train has a dining car, if I haven't mentioned that. They set it up for breakfast for the next morning. And the food is exceptional. I don't have any complaints about the dining car. I love these roses. I like the service in the dining car. I tried to stay out of the dining car this time, but I don't have any complaints. I recommend that you give it a try. Now, as I said, coach is not bad for a day's travel, but you can see how comfortable it is. If you have to, kind of get comfortable. Look at all this leg room. I brought my blanket with me. That's one thing I recommend that you bring with you is a little blanket. That'll keep you nice and cozy. Different things happen. You want to be comfortable on the train, okay? Some more tips I could give you would be to bring some toiletries, especially if you're in coach. There's no showers in coach. The sleeper car passengers have access to showers, but not the coach car passengers. So you want to be able to just kind of freshen up as best you can, especially if you're going from New York to LA or something like that in coach. And you want to kind of prepare for that. Also, bring you some water. I usually bring a gallon. There are some spouts in the cars that you're supposed to be able to get some water out of. It's supposed to be potable water. Just bring your water with you, okay? Just take my word for it. There are some bottled waters in the cafe, but you're gonna pay maybe $2.50 for a 16-ounce bottle. Just bring your own water with you, okay? Also, bring you some food, bring you some snacks, bring a sandwich or two. Go ahead and, pack you a little lunch or two, something to get by on. Believe it or not, the train is not exempt from little hiccups and challenges. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the train goes where the roads don't go. So you have to kind of be prepared for some of these things. The credit card machine goes out in the cafe and now they can't sell you anything. Different little things happen. The oven taps out in the dining car. You want to be comfortable. You want to be prepared, okay? Ooh, I love this farmland. And look at these roads. Look at how straight they are. You ever wonder how the roads are so straight in the farmland? I can't draw a straight line. How do they make these lines so straight? And when I was a school bus driver, it reminds me, I made up a game for the kids to play called What's Growing. And as we pass through the farmland, we have to all look out and see if we can tell what's growing out there or what kind of animals we see. It's a fun game. I still like to play it sometimes. Now, part of this journey that I'm on is I like to look into these neighborhoods and see, could I live here? Would I be able to settle down in a place like this? Is Paso Robles, by the way. Paso Robles is beautiful. They have really great wine tasting. And in between here and San Luis Obispo, they used to do wine tasting on the train. They had these cars called parlor cars. And in the parlor car had its own bar, its own menu, cushy lounge seating, and the windows like the observation lounge, and a movie theater downstairs too. They did the wine tasting in the parlor car. And Amtrak, if y'all are listening, I need y'all to bring these parlor cars back. That was my selling point for the Starlight. It was the best part of the ride. And the parlor car was available to the sleeper car passengers exclusively. So it was a really nice thing. We need the parlor cars back, Amtrak. Now, since we're on the subject of alcohol, I want to share a little something with you. It might be helpful to you, okay? Remember, the train is from the past, okay? It's a very uncomplicated situation. And if you don't like complications, the train might be for you. But if you like alcohol and you're the type of person, I have some friends, actually several, that don't do very good with alcohol. They tend to cut up. If that sounds like you, don't ride the Amtrak train. If you don't know how to act in public, stay off the train. Because the way Amtrak handles little challenges like that is if you get on that train and start cutting up, all they do is pull the train over and put you out. There's no deciding arbitration and we're going to have a big deliberation, but nope, they just pull the train over and out you go. And you don't want that, okay? Yes, I've seen it happen more than once, and I kind of feel bad for the people because I feel like that's some mother's child. They can't handle their drinking, so just be mindful of that. Now, as we make our way around Horseshoe Curve here and then to San Luis Obispo, I did mention that the Coast Starlight would be my number one recommendation for trying the train out. But you could also try out the Empire Builder. The Empire Builder travels across the northern border, and it leaves out of either Seattle or Portland, and it joins up in Spokane and goes to Chicago. That's a nice train ride too. The number one of Amtrak's routes is the Zephyr, which travels from Emeryville to Chicago straight through the middle of the United States. It's a beautiful ride. You may have to book it in advance because it books up fast. Okay. Now we're back on the coast here. This is the part that I love. They usually start to take your dinner reservations right about now. And I'd recommend going into the dining car and having your dinner now. You see on the left side of the train, you have these rolling hills, grass, oak trees, sometimes cattle grazing. And on the right, you have the Pacific Ocean and the sun setting. It's beautiful. Give it a try. Take my word for it and thank me later. Now, one last thing I want to say as we make our last few turns into Union Station. Since the train goes where the roads don't go, that also tends to be where the Wi-Fi and the cell phone service don't go, which forces you into a time where you have to talk to people right around you. I've had the most award-winning visits, big laughs, and fun with the people right around me on the train. I recommend it. And wherever you are in the world, turn that news off and talk to the people right around you. As always, please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next video.